elevating it to the status that it is, and people talking about it main eventing All Out. Do you feel any pressure on yourself as TBS Championship to echo that same type of, status that he's elevated the international title to?
I think it's, it's so inspiring, and I think anyone who ever becomes a champion would want to kind of aspire to have a reign similar to what he's done, which is just incredible. But I also think it's important that we all make our title reigns our own. So I'm just trying to live up to my own expectations. I can't replicate anybody else, and he is one of my best friends. So I'm just proud of him for what he's done, and of course I can only dream to be half the champion that he's been, but I also need to be my own champion. So.
Well, speaking of being champion, you won the TBS championship. Tell me a little bit about your road back from recovery. What does it mean to you to have the TBS championship and to be following up somebody like Jade, who was undefeated for that long, and now to be carrying and having your own run with that belt?
Yeah, the road to recovery was terrible. Having to do it twice was awful, but it did kind of make getting to this point so much more worth it, because it felt like it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then eventually it was just like, I'm not waiting anymore, I'm going for it right now. And then I got it done finally, and that was such a rewarding thing. And of course, Jade, incredible person, incredible champion. I will always give credit where credit is due. She's such a star, and I can't try and live up to, again, like I was saying with Orange, I can't try and live up to her title reign. I have to try and make this my own, and I can only just hope to be just as dominant, if not more. But every champion has their own title reign, and every champion is different, every person is different, every wrestler is different, and I think that's what makes everything so unique. So it's not just about living up to a previous reign, it's about, like I said, making it the best reign that you can as yourself.
Zach Hayden from SEScoops.com. This time of year, I think marks kind of like, an anniversary of AEW of sorts, and you've been around from the very beginning with a long history working independents. I mean, talk a little bit about, like, throughout your time at AEW, transitioning from a wrestler working on, in different independent shows to working one national, wrestling show week in and week out, episodic in nature.
Yeah, you would think that it would be different, but the only difference is that there's a lot more eyes on you each and every week, and you have to remember that because you have a much larger audience when you get on television, you have a lot more of a standard to uphold yourself to, and you have to really focus on putting the pro in professional wrestler, I feel. The schedule is just as much of a nightmare as any wrestling schedule is once you are getting more comfortable and getting out there a little bit more, except this time you have a lot more of a public eye on you. So
sure.
I think it was kind of an easy transition going from the indies, because I was doing so much to AEW. It's just you're on a much stricter time constraint,
sure.
Also with having limited television time. But I do think that I kind of forgot.
Is it from a character perspective and how you work out there? Does that change, like working show to show, town to town, as it does big platforms?
I try and just make each week that I travel and each thing that I do, I try and make it the best version of myself, and I try and improve on it a little bit more each and every week. And obviously, not all of us can be used and seen every week, but that doesn't mean that you can't find ways to better yourself. So I think it's all about constantly trying to find ways to improve, not just as a person, but as a performer, as a champion. And you with wrestling, there's no limit to how much you can learn, so I think it's very important to constantly keep trying to perfect your craft. Just it's just something that you gotta just keep going and keep doing, and everyone finds their groove at some point, and hopefully their groove takes you to a big stage like AEW.
Kris, Joey G Wrestling Headlines, how are you?
Hello.
I was in Vegas for Double or Nothing for your big title win. Congratulations.
Thank
A
you.
few weeks ago, speaking of talking about TV time,
Mhm.
a few weeks ago you had this great promo on AEW television where I believe you were squatting or benching Renee.
Squatting Renee, yes.
Squatting Renee, yes. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Was that something, a spur of the moment? And regardless, how was it squatting Renee? Did you throw your back out at all? Or?
No. I'm so jacked. It's fine. It wasn't spur of the moment, but it was something that when I was like, okay, I have to do this promo and talk about my match coming up. I just wanted to do something different. So I asked with Renee first. I was like, hey, do you mind if I squat you in my promo? And she was totally fine with it. So we just went with it, and it got the reaction I wanted it to. So I am not mad about it. But no, I am a professional. I'm so jacked. I wouldn't squat someone for a promo if I couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about cementing your title reign and what you want to have as TBS champion. You know, we just saw a new women's champion get crowned at All In with Saraya. What are your thoughts on her being champion? What do you think about trying to do the champ thing and face her as well?
I mean, I think anyone that overcomes something that she has, such as her neck injury, and makes a triumphant return to wrestling is extremely commendable. We are getting a little bit of a taste tomorrow night on Collision with this 6-man tag that we're doing with me, Britt, and Sheeta against the Outcasts. So we are getting a little bit of a taste of a champ versus champ type thing, and who knows? I think it might have been done in other scenarios, but I think this is a first for the women's division, seeing both champions in the ring at the same time. So who knows where it'll lead. It's going to be fun to give everyone a little bit of a taste of that, though. So we'll see who comes out the better champion at the end of it.
So we got an interview with Jade saying that she's coming back for her title. Do you have anything to say about that?
When she's ready, I'm ready to give her the opportunity to come after it again. I understand that everyone is kind of it's a very 50-50 split on my win. And if she wants to come back and come for it again, I'm ready for her whenever she's ready for it, and I am ready to prove that my win over her was not just a fluke and that I actually am the champion. So whenever she's ready, I am ready for her.
Couple more guys. Kris, you've wrestled a number of different talents in AEW,
Yes.
from Jade to Britt Baker at All Out,
Mhm.
to Layla Hirsch. Is there a match in your time in AEW that you think fondly of?
The match with Britt Baker is I'm very proud of that. Even though I did not come out victorious that time, that was, I think, the emotion and the energy around that day. There's just something about that pay-per-view that just everyone was just buzzing the entire time, and it was one of the most feel-good days that we've all had, and it was just a very exciting time for all of us, and I was so grateful to be a part of it and to be one of the people that all of us, the whole roster, everyone that was on that show, we all stepped up and we really put on quite an unforgettable show, because I know that's one of the pay-per-views that's constantly brought up as being one of AEW's best, and I'm just so glad that I have my name stamped on there. I'm also very proud of my very first main event match with Ruby Soho in Las Vegas, where I didn't win. I'm very proud of matches that I can't win, apparently, but I was so proud of that match because, again, that one felt like a turning point for me almost. That's when I felt like people really saw me as a future champion, and there's kind of a switch in everyone's feelings towards me. And unfortunately, not long after that, I blew out my knee again, or my other knee, I should say. But I feel like that was a turning point that led to me getting to here. So hopefully, after this match on Sunday with Ruby, I will be proud of that match for finally beating her, and I will be proud of a match that I've won. So.
Do you feel like all the turmoil that we've seen with the Outcasts as you go into this match, how much do you think that's going to factor into this match?
I'm 50-50 about it, because we have to see what plays out tomorrow with this tag match where they're all going to be on the same team together. We'll see if they can get it together, if they can all join for a common enemy, which happens to be me, unfortunately. We'll see. I think depending on how it goes tomorrow for Collision, will kind of set the tone for what happens Sunday. It's up to Ruby whether she wants to include Tony and Saraya to be out there with her for our title match. That's up to her. And it could be a huge factor if they decide to be out there. If they decide not to be, that could also change the whole course of things. So we'll have to see. I feel really bad because I see the reflection just like flashing in your guys' eyes, and I'm trying to like position it so it's not right in your
okay,
eyes.
champ.
So I'm just,
Champ problems. It's
Yeah, champ problem. Last one, guys.
Chris, there was, after the Bret Taya match, there was a lot of flack about how that match went and people not wanting to see you guys in the ring. And what do you say to the critics of the women's division in AEW?
I'd say I'd like to see them get in the ring and try and do anything that we've done. Of course, not everyone's going to like everything, and maybe not everyone works together, but it doesn't mean that doesn't work well together. But not everyone has chemistry with everyone, and I think it's unfair. A lot of what we see online is just based off of small clips, not the whole match. You don't know what goes into putting a match together. You don't know what goes into having a match. You don't know what it goes into being a wrestler. All the stress that we have to deal with, all the criticism that we get online from people that don't know us. We don't know them. And we get online and people tell us to kill ourselves and that they hate us and that they think we should get fired from a job that we love doing because maybe we had a bit of an off night. And I wish people would take into consideration that yes, we are on television, yes, we are wrestlers, we are superstars, if you will, but we're people. If any of you guys read a tweet online and said, this person's so bad at holding a phone right now, they should kill themselves, they should get fired for this, like, how would you guys feel? It sucks, and we have to always constantly go out there and put on a brave face, and because we're women, we're always seen as less than, and there's always going to be so much more criticism because we'll never be good enough. But so many of us try so hard to prove that we do deserve just as much praise as the guys do, because we really do. We show up, we work our butts off, we train, we try hard, and we want to put on the best show that we can for all of our fans, for everyone, for the company. And it just really sucks that people that have never done anything that we have to do week after week, all the traveling that we have to do. It sucks that they can't just like wrestling for wrestling and that they think that they know better than we do. And it's like, if we have an off night, like, we know it. We don't need the entire internet to tell us that we didn't have our best night. So I just really wish some people would take into consideration that we're doing our best. Not everyone is top of the top, and not everyone has their best night every night. So it's just, yeah. I don't really know how to end that on a positive note but it's just like, yeah, it is what it is, We understand it. We all know that we're gonna get chewed out alive, chewed up, spit out, eaten alive. Oh, pick one. We all know that it's coming, and it sucks that we have that fear going on to TV, being like, if we screw up this one thing, or man, I'm not feeling great, I'm a little nervous, and we just we know that people are gonna hate us for just trying to do our jobs. So it's quite unfortunate that we have to deal with that more than a lot of other people do.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you, champ.
Thank you.
Thank you.